I gotta wait. How long I gotta wait for a press record?
Go.
Welcome to the share, where Miss Dreme always has a story.
I'm Dreme, a black woman with many beautiful interconnecting identities. A few I will name at this moment as we get started on this podcast journey together. A Bostonian, born and raised in the inner city, Dorchester and Roxbury neighborhoods, to a teenage single mother who has my whole heart. An educator, I've been working with youth and children since my teenage years, and formally, I have been teaching almost a decade now. That's wild to think about. An entrepreneur, I am the founder of The Chair, a black and brown centered tech platform dedicated to supporting people on their hair journey, where you can design hairboards, connect to hairstylists, and share hair care tips for a more joyous experience. I have a workable site, my prototype. It took me 2 years to build, and now I'm on this adventure that you're currently on with me. My goal for this podcast is to share stories, black stories, educator stories, entrepreneurship stories, and hair stories. I want you to leave each episode with the opportunity to gain new insight, just a glimpse into my world or the worlds that are featured on my podcasts, a little chuckle during your day or night, possibly a little anger to encourage you to advocate for justice, and hope to continue learning and dreaming. So come in and listen to the beautiful voices in the chair as they share their stories, starting with me.
Where we share stories in the chair.
So when talking about The Chair, people ask, how did it start? But before talking about why I started building The Chair, I have to talk about why I went to business school. I'm an educator who didn't have any plans at all to go to business school. My BA is in anthropology, sociology, and American studies from Lake Forest College. Then I attended UCLA to receive my master's in education, focused on urban education and social justice. So why business school, Dreme? Well, after I graduated with my master's in education, I was teaching East Coast, West Coast, internationally. And again, business school was not on the agenda. Then after moving back to the States, I was living in China. After moving back to Boston, I was working in these different schools, and I was coming up against the same problem, right? I am a black woman, educated in the field, experienced, and I taught kids who look like me. My skin tone, a lot of similar lived experiences, particularly from my neighborhoods, and admin were not listening to me. My suggestions in curriculum, my suggestions in talking about their social-emotional well-being. I was being ignored. I was becoming frustrated. I was getting into more arguments. So the thing that they had in common besides their whiteness was that they had MBAs. So I was like, if they have an MBA, maybe there's something that I'm missing, right? So maybe I should go get an MBA to learn, to be able to have stronger conversations, to be able to meet them where they're at, to be able to find our crossroads, to be able to find where we can really work together to support the kids. Because right now, the kids are the ones who are suffering. So at this time, I'm over $150,000 in student loan debt. So applying to another master's degrees wasn't realistic, right? A lot of my friends and family was like, you don't need this. This isn't what you should be doing right now. It doesn't make sense. And I was like, I know it doesn't make sense, but I'm like, I have a problem and I don't know the answer. And I think maybe this could be possibly a way to be able to have these conversations. And one of my best friends, she said to me, she's like, Dreme, you can't go get a master's just because you're curious, just out of curiosity. And then I said, okay, well, if I get a full ride, I'm going to go. And she says, I like that plan. So I applied to one business school, Babson College. And the only reason I applied to one, I was on their website and they said that they solve problems creatively. I have a problem. I'm an educator trying to have these conversations with white teachers, white admin about how they support Black and brown kids, right? So I want to go to business school to study racism. So to me, that is a creative problem. So I applied and I got in, and they gave me a full ride. So now I didn't have an excuse not to go. So I decided to go to business school to be able to learn, to be a better educator for my kids. Because my goal was to go to this 2-year program and then come back and still teach middle school history.
Where we share stories in the chair.
Look, it's my commercial. We will be right back.
It's more than just a bad hair day. It's a journey. Finding the right hairstyle isn't easy, nor is finding the right stylist or the right products. Looking in every corner of the web gets messy, overwhelming, and exhausting. All the ads, the articles, the products, the videos, it shouldn't be this hard, but it is. And now, it isn't. The Chair. A Black and brown centered platform where you can design hairboards, connect to hairstylists, and share hair care tips for a new, joyful path on your hair journey. Avoid the clutter, save yourself hours, months, and even years of research and poor trial and error. Everything you need and only what you need is in one place. Hairboards made by people like you, for you. Find the right products, the right people, the right answers for you, stress-free. Join the Chair community and make every day a great hair day. When you share your pain, you allow others to help you. And when you share your success, you help others get theirs. Lean on the Chair. We got you. No stress, no strife. In the chair. The chair. The chair. All right.
Business school was very hard. Academically, it was different. Learning frameworks, learning language. It was a whole new world for me. And I know on this podcast, I'll be able to go into details about the different stories and lessons that I learned in business school. But to fast forward, I took a class called Blockchain Ventures because I was reading about blockchain, right? At the time, crypto was really big, but I wasn't interested in crypto. I learned that crypto came from blockchain, and blockchain is an accessibility tool to be able to make the internet more accessible for everyone. And so for me, I was like, ooh, that is socialism. So let me take this class to be able to learn something. I wasn't expecting to understand how to work the market or become really into crypto later because I understood the foundations of blockchain. No, I was curious to understand how this concept of accessibility was being used in business. So I took the class. Shout out to my professor, Steve, white man, multiple degrees from MIT. And once you get me curious, I'm going to drill you with questions. And so this professor found me interesting because I kept grilling him, asking him, trying to understand what blockchain was. How can it be accessible? So we all had to do a project. We were separated into groups, right? And we got to create our own project. It was anything related. How did you feel about how blockchain can make the world better, right? So people did fintech, people did real estate, and then there was a social group. So you know where I went. So in this social group, there was a few of us thinking about how can blockchain help society. So we decided to look at blockchain in the philanthropy space. And we dug and we dug and we dug, and then we decided to focus on grant making because blockchain really helps with something that is a consistent problem. And as we know, grants, there will always be grants for all different reasons. And so we were trying to build a system of making the grant writing process easier, applying process easier, being able to navigate through finding grants when they start, when they open, when they close. So that's what we were focused on. And through that, every time I enter into a space, I'm always like, hey, where are the Black people? So I look at my professor and I go, hey, professor, where are the Black people? Why are they not on the blockchain? Right? Because all the stories we were reading were about either white people or Asian people, really thinking about the tech space at that time. And he was like, Dreme, you need to think about a problem that is consistent in the Black space, and then you start there. Oh, and if you're interested to learn more about my experiences as a Black woman and educator in Guangzhou, China, I wrote my first ebook titled Nowhere and Everywhere, Captured Emotions of a Beautifully Broken Love Story. It is on lulu.com. Take a read and see some beautiful photography of mine. Enjoy the rest of the show. All right, I got you. At that time, I was outside doing a lot of protesting against killing Black and brown people. And I was like, okay, well, this is a consistent problem, but I don't want to study this, right? I want something more joyous. And at that same time, I was also having a lot of personal conversations about hair. And so I was like, well, hair is always going to be a conversation in the Black community. So let me think about how can hair be put on the blockchain. And so I told my professor, I said, hey, I'm trying to think about how to think about hair on the blockchain. And so this is a white man. He doesn't know anything about Black hair. He doesn't know anything about the Black hair space. But you know what he does know? He does know his space. So he just kept asking questions, and I would have to do my own research. Dreme, what about Black hair is an issue? What are the problems with Black hair? What is not being addressed? I was like, oh, okay. He was like, okay, go do interviews. This is what you're trying to figure out how can you take a piece of that problem, put it on the blockchain, and be able to solve it. So it started off as just a project, as just a question. And then it became a thing that kept itching the back of my neck. And I've learned since I was very young that if something keeps itching the back of my neck and the back of my ears, that means I'm not done with it, right? Any research, any job, any book I'm reading. So I was curious. And with that curiosity, it spilled over into all of my other business classes. Anytime I had space to work on my own project, I kept bringing up Black hair. And then I met new professors and new directors and kept bringing up this thought, this what they called a passion project. Dreme, you just have a passion project. Just, keep fooling around with it. It's a passion project. So now I'm in business school, still going to classes. I'm interning at the Department of Education. I'm also digging into strategy and marketing, things that I'm just curious about. And through those classes, I'm bringing this passion project into the space. So eventually, the chair was born. The original name was Growing Hands, which still love. Growing Hands is a phrase that said a lot growing up in my house and in the Black community about when your hair is not doing too well and you go to your hairstylist and they make your hair feel good, they make your hair feel better, your hair starts growing. They always say, your hairstylist has growing hands. And thinking about the intimacy when it comes to having someone else's hands in your hair. But the name was taken, people. The name was taken on the super list of names when it comes to like trademarking all that. So Growing Hands was already taken and a lot of different versions of it. So I had to change. So that's how I ended up with the chair, which I also deeply, deeply love. And so the chair grew out of a blockchain course because it started with just a curious question and realizing that my curious question had so many levels and so many issues that I couldn't just leave it alone. So I'm on this journey now to build this beautiful site, this beautiful platform to support us all on our hair journey. And I'm really excited to be able to share so many hair stories in the future because there are so many. And black hair is a part of my identity. It's a part of me. And I love my hair. And I want everybody else to feel how I feel when it comes to talking about my hair and being able to have a space to be able to talk about your hair, be able to love on your hair, and also be able to find solutions to the problems. Think about how there are so many hair care blogs. Like, they all need light. They all need shine. They all just need to be organized and put into one space. And the chair can be that one space. It's pretty amazing that someone as big as Beyonce and someone as big as Rihanna are also making hair care products, which tells you that this is a serious problem for billionaires and also for people like me who are buying multiple rounds of products, who are also watching YouTube videos, who are also watching TikTok Reels and Instagram Reels to be able to understand how to support our hair journey. And so building this site for me is a passion that will never go away. It's the itch on the back of my neck that will always be here. It's something that is special. It has a special place in my heart, and I want everybody to be able to come along on this journey with me as it grows.
Welcome to the chair, where Miss Dreme always has a story.
Thank you for listening to an episode of The Chair. I, of course, would love your continued support. Let me know what you think of this episode by doing all the things. Subscribe, comment, and come back next week, every week. Enjoy the rest of your beautiful day, or if you are like me, enjoy that moonlight and that one star under all your city lights. Love you. Talk to you later.
The chair.
How long I gotta wait for a press record?
Go.
We support her. Shit.
Do your...
Welcome to the chair, where Miss Dreme always has a story. Where we share